And I mean, I think the reason why we bring this up tonight is we just really anticipate getting back to live music, which is a segue
Oh
into
yeah.
our segment tonight,
Yep.
which is what, Tone?
Yeah, we didn't tease it, which is
We didn't tease it in the beginning.
Not
No.
like us. But hey, you've made it this far, and you probably already know because it's going to be in the title of the episode. But yeah, we most anticipated albums of 20 or music releases of 2021. Some are confirmed, right? I would imagine. Some are not. We're speculating, and some are pipe dreams. Those are the categories that I came up with.
Hell
Some
yeah.
are definitely confirmed. They have release dates. They might even be in 3 weeks. Some were like, yeah, they're rumored. Maybe they'll put something out by the end of the year. They're working on stuff. That'd be cool. And then some are like, we hope this happens. We haven't heard from them, or we want to hear from them. Yeah. Who wants to lead off?
All right, I'll lead off.
Nate.
All right, so when we do a lot of brainstorming here. When we brainstormed this topic, well, actually, Tone did. Who I'm going to say was the first band that came to my mind, which is Crime in Stereo. So a little story. So back in May 2019, I went out to their West Coast 3-date reunion, and I'll never forget. I was walking down the street by Petco Park in San Diego. I think it was probably the day of the San Diego show, and I was on Facebook and Instagram, and Crime in Stereo had put out a 1-minute teaser clip of a new song with a caption that said "soon," period. So I'm like, holy shit, this makes so much sense. They're gonna, do this West Coast tour. They're gonna drop, they're gonna announce an album. So here we are, a year and a half later. Nothing's ever come from that clip. They never released the song. They never released an EP or an album. So for me, I'll take anything from them. EP, full length. My guess is when bands go into the studio, they record more than one song. So I know there's more than one song. So I got to believe it's a 7-inch or an EP at minimum. So that is my, hey, your last album came out in 2010. Where the heck's the new stuff? That's my definitely near the top of the anticipated list.
That's a great. This is what I love about our podcast. I'm not going to lie to you. It just went through my head as I was listening to you talk about that. They were not on my radar, but you made me a fan of them, and you are more in tune to what's going on with them because you've liked them longer than I have. Full disclosure, anybody that's listened knows that. But now I'm excited about it. Like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah, they're a cool band, and I like them because you've told me about them, and then I got into them, and I'm like, man, I would like some new music from them right now. That'd be fucking awesome.
I'm telling you, go to their Facebook, go back to 2019, listen to the clip. It screams Long Island, New York. It screams brand new type of sound. You'll fucking love it. You'll be like, I need this. I need this.
I'm in on that.
Man, that's awesome, man. And it's also like just very interesting that, we talked about like all the stuff that was supposed to come out and all like behind the scenes, how they had everything kind of ready to roll and everything. So that was clearly one of those cases where they're like, oh shit, like we have to cancel everything. But I guess we'll just put it on hold because hopefully things will come back around.
I hope that's what it was. It was the fact that they might have had something locked and loaded that they wanted to either release maybe for Record Store Day, and then Record Store Day got pushed, or hey, we've got 10 songs coming at you and we're going to tour on it, and they couldn't tour on it. So that could have been definitely the situation. That's exciting. I'm excited about that now.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like we always, when we think about all the music talk, we always kind of ask two questions, like the how and the why of anything music related. So I'm like wondering, like, why didn't this come out? Like, what happened? I need to know the story.
Yep. Especially when you get teased like that, man. That's the thing.
Like, what happened
like
that it didn't get dropped right after that? I'd love to know.
Exactly.
But,
yep.
Hey, the hype is real. The hype
There's
is real
always
with
hype.
them.
We love hype.
All right, my first one. So who's up?
Nate, you got one?
I got one. And one of those things where I didn't want to like bring it up because it's like, man, it's like a big one. But just because of the, craziness that's going on and everything, I really would like to hear something brand new, but also somewhat throwback for Radiohead to come out and just put something crazy out, like a double album to just kind of sum up everything that's happened in the last, I don't even 2 years really. And, and the way Tom, or is it Tom or Thom?
Thom Yorke.
Tom York. Yorkie. He's an amazing songwriter, and obviously the band is extremely tight. So something from them, almost like a concept album, double concept album. I'm asking for a lot now.
Yeah, right. You're asking for 26 songs.
Beggars can't be choosers, man. It's 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift just gave us like 50 last year, so they could do it, right?
Yeah. So it's the first thing that came to mind, just because I was just thinking of, who showcases emotion and amazing sounds, soundscapes the best, or at least one of the best, and that's Radiohead. So to funnel all this chaos into something beautiful, I think Radiohead could really come back strong.
Actually, one point is if you were to put a percentage of likelihood for this to happen, where would you put it? 0?
What, the double concept album? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
5%.
Just music?
Yeah, just music for them.
20, 25, 30 maybe? I mean, it was 20, and I had to look this up. I didn't know it off the top of my head. Moonshaped Pool came out in 2016. So it's been it'll be 5 years in May.
Wow.
That's a long time. It's a long time for them. It's not for them, maybe not, but it's a long time for a band to go between albums. And maybe last year was rife with inspiration for bands. So we're going to see, as I predicted at the end of the year 2020, a lot of music come out that, fits this situation at some point. I don't know when, but hopefully Radiohead. That'd be fucking awesome.
So Moonshaped Pool came out 2016. Before that was The King of Limbs a full length?
Yes, technically.
Because if you count that, it was 5 years between those two albums.
So we're right on schedule.
Yeah, if you count that.
That's another thing, a little nerd thing. I always wonder, are those, when it's like exactly 5 and 5? I wonder if that's planned. There's some bands that literally do it like clockwork. Like, even if it's a long span of time, it seems like it's that exact 5 or 6 year space.
Tell that to Tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or A Perfect Circle.
Or Guns N' Roses.
Or Guns N' Roses.
Oh man, Chinese Democracy finally came out.
Yeah, that lived up to the hype. Not.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tool, with your point, Twan, and the band you mentioned, like, had Tool's album not dropped in 2019, I feel like that album wouldn't have come out, and the band would have just called it a day.
Been the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They may be done anyway. I wouldn't be shocked by that. As far as just a not necessarily a done forever, but done as a recording artist. I could see them maybe playing shows here and there, but they may be like, yeah, we're good. We've put out everything we need to put out. We've enjoyed ourselves. I could see that.
Yeah.
All right,
Don't those bad vibes.
I don't want it to happen, but you never know. Am I up? All right, I'm going to ask you guys. I have those 3 categories. The music that has been confirmed, it's coming out this year. We're sure of it. We have dates for some of it. Unconfirmed, or pipe dream. Give me a category.
I'm gonna go Pipe Dream.
I was gonna say Pipe Dream. I want like the deep nerdery, like you're jonesing for something that may or may not happen.
I got 3 of them that I really, really like here.
Pipe Dream.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna say.
It might be one of mine.
Oh, it could be. But
go. You go.
My pipe dream, Rage Against the Machine.
Oh wow.
Ooh,
it wasn't mine, but yeah, fucking obvious.
They were supposed to tour last summer, right?
Yeah.
And all that went on, they were in touch with each other if they were going to tour. Hey guys, like, maybe toss us 6 songs. How fucking awesome would that be? Think about that.
Whew.
You know
So,
what?
yeah,
That's so risky though, because what if it sucked?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
What if it sucked?
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You heard Zach's verse on Run the Jewels. It wouldn't suck.
Yeah. But you also had the De La Roca solo single, Digging for Windows, which actually wasn't bad. I need One Day's a Lion too. But yeah, I think it would be good. It would basically be 20 years of We Told You So.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it'd be. 20 years of look, we went away and you guys let the world go to shit. We're back. Let's fucking fix this stuff.
Damn. Yeah, for me it goes to the how and the why. So for them, why would they what's in it for them? I guess that's the question I would ask. Is it the fuck you, we can still do it? Like,
Yes, that's probably it.
and imagine if it was good, it would own the charts. Not that they're going for that, but it could continue their legacy for another 20 years. I mean, they'll be around for a whole new generation, possibly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Nate brought up Tool in our last little mini talk here. And when they dropped Fear Inoculum in 2019, they were like, they owned streaming. and everybody was like, why is Tool? Who is Tool? What is Tool? All the kids that were like,
That's
who is
right.
this band and why is it like blowing my favorite artist out of the water? This doesn't make sense to me. It's because of their reputation. Rage would do the same thing. People know who Rage are, maybe a little bit more, but Rage would do the same thing. It would be like our generation of people, which in prepping for the Rolling Stone article is the kind of up and coming music streaming platform demographic would be like, yep, a new Rage record or even 4 songs. Let's go. Let's download that shit out of that and play that a million times.
Yeah, good call. Rage Against the Machine, people like discovering them now. I feel like it's woke culture now, right? So it kind of makes sense to really dig into those lyrics and understand like what was being told to us 20 plus years ago with this band Rage Against the Machine is like a kid now, 16-year-old discovering Rage and discovering like 1984 by George Orwell at the same time. It's like these were written a long time ago and they're describing exactly what's going on. Like how crazy is that, Yeah, Rage could totally put something out and basically be like, we told you so, and here's what's going to happen in the next 20 years. So wake up.
Yeah.
The whole back catalog's out there, and like you said, it's the streaming generation, so there's no incremental cost. You just type in Rage Against the Machine and you have their whole catalog. Which reminds me, I don't know if I'd like growing up in this era. If I found out about music in this era, I think the hunt of the search would not be as fun. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah, that's an episode. Leave that alone.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. You're right. My thought there is that they were going to tour, so they're amicable enough to have wanted to do that. Are they friendly enough to have wanted to put together a handful of songs, put together with what's going on today? Weren't they supposed to end the tour at the Republican National Convention like they've done in the past? And wherever, I can't remember the city it was supposed to be in, but I feel like the end of the tour was supposed to coincide with where the RNC was supposed to be, just because that's what they would do. It's just them. And maybe they put a couple songs together for it too. Who knows? And we just didn't hear him yet.
You bring up a great point, because when a band like that, especially who's been away from it for so long, when they are gearing up for touring, it's not like they just day one on the first tour. It's the first time playing together. They've been practicing, been in the same room.
Have to.
And you can't tell me that Morello's not fucking experimenting with some riffs and then they go from there, Hey,
I've been saving this riff, guys. It was a Rage riff. I just didn't know what to do with it. Yep. No, man, we're talking ourselves into it now, aren't we?
I could see that. And that's actually what I was going to say too, is like Zach's whole solo album that never came out. If he has a full album of solo stuff, I'm sure he has a lot more of 20 years of just like, we could put this out. We could apply it to the, the rhythm section and put out probably multiple albums really. And the whole tour, they toured in what, 2007? Their first tour back after their breakup in 2000. Yeah. And it seems like they get back together, periodically spaced out. And I did read something when the 2007 reunion came out that they actually meet up. Those 4 meet up with their management once a year to discuss touring, not necessarily writing music, but they link up with their management once a year to discuss like, here's all the offers around the world to tour. Do we want to do it? And I guess they never, it's got to be 4 votes. And obviously it finally came or almost happened with this most recent tour.
Yeah. Right. But why didn't you ask Brad when you met him at that Whole Foods?
It was brief, but
I know, I'm kidding.
If I had more time, there would be a lot of things I would ask.
Oh yeah, we would talk to Brad right now. Oh, and here's Brad Will. No, just kidding.
Maybe someday.
2023.
Yeah. No, so Rage. All right, let's move on. We can't talk about Rage all night. I'd love to, but we can't.
It's a house band though, so I mean
they are, and they'll come up again.
Yeah,
sure.
So my first one was kind of in the middle. It wasn't a pipe dream because they've teased it, and it also is not confirmed. So you guys want to hear the pipe dream or the confirmed?
Ooh. Want
a pipe dream?
Yeah, let's go pipe dream again. Yeah.
Deep nerdery pipe.
So this one, actually, Tone, you and I brought this up, or it came up in conversation this past weekend on Toby's live stream. Toby covered this band. Toby McAllister, our last episode 44 guest, he does the pop punk cover night, and it's a pop punk band. Want me to say it?
Yeah, I do.
Phoenix TX, man.
I was almost,
Ooh, nice.
He covered Threesome, right?
He covered Threesome. Yeah. So Phoenix TX, they had a little run, early 2000s. They had that self-titled album which was it was good, but it was like Blink Jr., which you could tell that's what it was going for.
Mm-hmm.
But then they dropped LeChusa in 2001, which
Fire.
it's for me it's even beyond an in genre classic. It's like one of my it just is a record after 20 years that creeps its way into my CD player or MP3 player, Spotify, like every month, and that's not an exaggeration. And they did have an EP in 2016, which I think I maybe skimmed it, but never gave it a listen. So maybe I can, if it doesn't happen in 2021, I can go back and pretend that one came out this year. But yeah, Phoenix TX. I think there was some health problems there with the band. I don't know for sure, but I'd love to get something from them, even in 2021.
That'd be awesome, and it would actually work. You're right, because the whole pop punk thing is. I feel like it's kind of finding a new life. Those songs are finding a new life. It's still relevant. Definitely puts me in a good mood. I can tell you that. Just the tempo alone. That'd be amazing, man. I haven't heard them in a long time, and I didn't see that live stream, so I got to check it out. And this is a what is it? It's a far shot. Like you don't think it's gonna happen, but you'd like it.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on with them. I thought I saw something. One of the members had some health issues. Don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But we should have asked Scott Russo, because I think one of the guys in Unwritten Law was in, I think Adam Lewis was in Phoenix TX as well. Shared member thing going on. But
if we can only go back to last May. I'm all about this. I love LeChusa probably to the same level that you do, Twan. I think I burned it off of you junior year of high school or whenever it came out. So, and it actually, that burned copy lived in like 4 cars in the CD player in the past. One of my cars, I had a 2013 Jetta, I think, that had a 6 CD changer. It was a standard, but it had a 6 CD changer, right? Like who does both of those?
right.
And LeChusa was in there for like the majority of the time I owned that car. So a lot of times I'd turn the car on, it would just jump right into KDW, right?
Phoebe Cates, KDW, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Phoebe Cates is so good too. Yeah, just a great record. Threesome, El Borracho, the last song before they go into their secret song, which is a thing back then.
Right.
It was just great record. So if they could come back and do something polished, obviously mature because they've grown up as we have, and give us a little of that Phoenix TX feel, I'm in. I'm all in.
And they're versatile too. Like that first album was pop punk. Then you could tell there's some metal roots there. Like even what is it, Pasture of Muppets? They have fun with Master Puppets. Like, and there's some riffs on that.
Name for a song.
There's some riffs on that album, and it just they matured in a natural way. So I'd be curious in I'll probably listen to the 2016 release.
I will too now that you've said it.
I want all sorts of pop punk bands to do this now. With you saying Phoenix TX, it would be a great resurgence in that scene. To see it come back, even growing up, it would be like the Blink self-titled album across the board on all these bands. It'd be great.
Is this a segue into your next pick, or?
Ooh,
It's not. It's actually not even close.
Well, let's hear it.
So mine is another one that I would love to hear, just the reflection of the times. This is way different than not even close to pop punk.
Nothing wrong with that. We love it.
Right? Yeah. I would love to hear something new, spanning this time from James Taylor, one of my favorite songwriters. Yeah, I love him. Love his voice. He was a college roommate with one of our high school friends, George. His father and James Taylor went to the same college. They were roommates. Not relevant, but just wanted to mention that as another main tie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love James Taylor, and I love his style of writing. And so to have him, put out a double concept album. No, I'm just kidding. Something to reflect these times, almost like a journal entry on what's been going on. I feel like even with some of the lyrical content, the way he says it, maybe it's just his voice, it's very soothing. It's I guess we call it music therapy. So that would be appropriate, I think, and it would be huge. I haven't looked to see if there's even anything coming out from him, but I feel like he's always writing, so this would be appropriate for him to drop something.
James Taylor is an artist for me as a kid that both of my parents liked, and subsequently got me into it. I ended up seeing James Taylor with my dad in I don't know, '07. I'd have to look through my ticket stubs, but it was a while back now. At the Civic Center in Portland, Maine, and it was just so good. He puts on a storytellers every night live. Like he will talk to the crowd, and he's like, I wrote this doing that. I did this doing that. I saw this with. I was playing with this band. I was playing with this artist. I was hanging out, jamming with so and so, and I turned it into this song. Like that's what he did, and it was an absolute blast of a concert. What you want from someone like him, you got it, and that was really cool. And you're right, he has he's dipped his toe into what's going on in the world. I'm going to tell you about it through song in the past with many things, so to hear today's stuff through his lens would be really cool. And you're right, he does have a soothing voice. He's Massachusetts, right? He's local. So
yeah.
So he had a release called American Standard last year. So it was in February. So this is great, Nate.
Prior to
it was pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a guy that was he still touring up till recently?
I think he was.
He had a tour lined up for 2020 that I was going to go to.
Oh,
and
so
obviously,
yeah. So that's a guy that's been songwriting for a year. He's been writing songs for a year in quarantine. I guarantee it.
Yeah, yeah. And to your point, Tone, on that story, I didn't go to that show, but I did see a different show with James Taylor in 2012. I want to say it's before I moved to California, and it was exactly that. It was a song and then the story behind it. The only other time I've heard someone do that is Paul McCartney and B.B. King, just really giving like a behind the music on every song, and then play the song, and then another story, and another. Bruce Springsteen does it too, to an extent, and I just love that because it's the epitome of nerdery, right? But unlike someone like Bob Dylan, James Taylor is very, I don't want to, this isn't a diss, but he's very coherent compared to Bob Dylan. Like you can actually understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that 3-hour show with James Taylor, it's like, it's worth every penny, and you get so much out of it. Yeah. I think it's really just the storytelling, and that's what I want to hear is storytelling. I want to hear someone else tell me what's going on right now.
He around the time of American Standard dropping early last year was on Broken Record, Malcolm Gladwell's music podcast that occasionally has really big guests like him. And I listened to that, Nate. You'd like it. I think you'd go back and peep that. You're a James Taylor fan. You'd be all in on that. So I'd go go find that and listen to it. It's probably an hour. It's not. It's a drive. You're bopping around SoCal, doing your thing. I'd listen to that.
This is the one from 2019. You said
2020, early 2020.
Oh, early 2020. Okay, yeah.
He has like old Beatles stories, and it's interesting. It's cool. It's like early as he's a songwriter, like when he's 17 type stuff, I think is on there. So you'd be into that.
That's awesome.
What's the likelihood this happens, Nate, you think?
I think this one's pretty high, right? I think he's always writing based on what you're just saying, Tone, about that last album. I think he's always reflecting on past and present. So I think we got to, if he wants to do it, I think it's possible. And he was like I was saying, he was touring. This tour I was going to see in 2020 was, I think it was him and Sheryl Crow in Hollywood, the Hollywood Bowl. And I was stoked to see it. And then it obviously got canceled. But every time he comes, I try to go just because I know it's going to be that show I saw in Portland, on steroids. Now that I'm a bigger fan because I saw him live. I was always a fan, then I became a bigger fan. And like you, Tone, growing up, there was times when I was growing up thinking like, this guy is so like corny sounding. It's like I think I've said it on here before. It's like supermarket music, but it's really not. It's way beyond that. But it has that feel sometimes. If you don't know and you don't like dig deep enough, it can come across as like, Macy's store shopping for pants music.
But I mean, he's so timeless. Like Fire and Rain, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great, Sweet Baby James, great song. I mean, I'm going back to old James Taylor stuff, but
See,
the
Carolina
guy can write
on
a
my
song.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I'm not as versed, but I know I dabble enough to know.
Yeah. And that's the best part about this pod, man.
I can go check them out.
I think I've said that 5 times, but yeah, he'll be on the playlist, and we'll have some James Taylor in your face coming at you.
So if you had Tone saying, that's what I love about this pod, take a sip.
Drunk roulette, yeah, go for it.
Take a drink.
That's awesome. I think a shot for every time.
Yeah, yep. Okay, am I up?
You are
Yep.
up.
I think I am. Okay, so we did one of my pipe dreams. I'll leave the other pipe dreams alone. We'll go back to, all right, give me one from either the confirmed music or the unconfirmed music. What do you guys want?
You pick, Nate.
Unconfirmed.
I think it might be semi-confirmed, but it's not really. I know they're back together, and when I say back together, they were always together, but they brought the guitarist back, and the guitarist is kind of what's always made them go. Who am I talking about, Nate?
Red Hot Chili
You're
Peppers.
talking about
Yeah, the Peppers,
Nice.
man. They brought Frusciante back, and they haven't put an album out with Frusciante in 15 years. Stadium Arcadium was 15 years ago, 2006. How nuts is that? Like, it's time. And I know it sucks that Josh Klinghoffer get kind of, here's the door, here's your hat, get the F out, but Frusciante and
Take
Red
off
Hot
your
Chili
pants and
Peppers.
jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Frusciante is what makes them go. As good as Flea is, as good as Kiedis's sometimes lyrics are, and sometimes not, and that's what makes them good. It's Frusciante. He is the LeBron James. He is the Michael Jordan of that band. Like, everybody else gets better because he's there, and if without him, they're not bad. They're just lesser. So more with Frusciante, I'm down. Let's go. Let's get an album this year. Give us another double album. Stadium Arcadium 2. Concept album about the last. No, sorry, just kidding. But yeah, let's go. Let's do this. I want to see more. I want to see them back with a release, even if it's 7 songs. I'd be all about that. I'd be super pumped.
It's a great point, because when a band makes like a PR like that or an announcement like that, it's not like, hey, we texted with this guy and he's back in the band. Like,
Right.
it's either 1, we're going to tour, or 2, there's an album, we're going to write music. So I think, I wonder if it would have happened in 2020. When was it announced that it was coming back?
Sometime early last year or
Yeah.
late
No,
19.
It was December 2019, I think.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, they might have had plans to tour last year.
or last summer, right? Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I think they had like 4 festival appearances, and that's it. I mean,
So
maybe that
instead,
was
they
just-
made music, and we're gonna get a record, right?
I
Yeah,
like where your head's at. I think it'd be great. I mean, friggin' Frusciante's guitar lines, I think we've talked about it on here quite a bit. I mean, it's next level, right? So to have him come to the table again and work with those guys, because they are extremely cohesive when they're a 4-piece unit, would be phenomenal. I mean, who knows? Maybe it wouldn't be phenomenal, but I think it would be, just because of the time apart and with what's going on. It's hard not to be fully laser focused on putting out something just amazing, and that band is capable of doing it, as we know. So if they put out another by the way type album to kind of paint the story of what's going on today, I keep reflecting on like wanting someone to tell the story of what's going on right now for me through music, just because we say it's music therapy. So to hear like how John Frusciante is going to translate these feelings in the way of a guitar riff
Mhm.
is like a cure to the whole COVID thing for me, you know? So yeah, this would be great. And you said it's not quite confirmed, but
I don't think it's confirmed. I'm just going off of, I remember that story from 2019 of them bringing John back, and you're right. Twan's right. You don't put that out there, press release. The story's written unless there's a reason, unless you wanted to get eyeballs to it. And so something was afoot. Hopefully it wasn't just festival dates. You don't bring him back for just festival dates. You bring him back to write music, right? That's my hope.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, bands have touring musicians just to be a warm body to strum an instrument. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
The music's already been written. Anyone can, not anyone, but can play it. But, you know.
Yeah. Unless it's Josh Freese's drum fills. Not everybody can play those. But yeah.
Flashback to
Callback.
episode
11.
11.
Yeah.
Scott Russo interview.
Yeah.
We're our own commercials at this point.
Yeah, exactly. You guys just got a commercial for episode 11. Go click on it.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think you ruled out that it wasn't just a concert touring play. Obviously, you bring back to write music. So you said the last one with him was Stadium Arcadium 2006?
Yeah, 2006, man.
And they've done 2
Is
since
it-
then.
2006.
It's
They
5
put
years
out
ago.
I'm With You and The Getaway. Is that right? And those aren't, neither of those are bad. They both have good songs on them, but they're not full-on cohesive Red Hot Chili Peppers records for me. And I think, I would imagine you guys semi-agree with that, but it's more. I want more. I want Frusciante. I want him playing off Flea, playing off Anthony, playing off Chad.
Chad.
Right? Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm. I would love this if this happened. I think the world would appreciate it if it came true. And to your point earlier, they're not just a fly by night. Let's just call John. Like, they weren't even talking to each other,
Right.
from what I've read.
Yeah.
He left the band and he didn't want anything to do with the band or writing music in that sense, because he did make other music with RZA from Wu-Tang and a lot of instrumental stuff, and who knows what else, just kind of doing his own thing. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it with Greg from Zebrahead, right? He's Eddie Van Halen status. So
yeah,
he's a virtuoso. So to get him back is like, oh, okay, we have this. We got him back. We got our Jimi Hendrix back. Like, holy crap, let's definitely tour. But if we can write another record, then we can really go all the way. And the best part is it's not about like, as a fan, this isn't about selling records as much as let's put out some art from people that can really put out art.
And they follow the 3 to 4 years between albums. So
Yep.
if they just got back together with them last year or 2 years ago, maybe on the tail end of this year or even 2022, it could happen.
Frusciante did put out a record called Maya in 2020. It looks like October. Yeah, October of 2020. So hopefully that wasn't, I'm going to do this instead. See you guys.
Right.
But fingers crossed, right?
Yeah.
We all want to do one more.
Yeah, I'm in.
Before we do, I have a thank you.
Of course.
I have a thank you for Anthony's beard. I'm glad Anthony's beard has come out tonight. It's longer than mine. I have a little beard envy. When we're not going, we're all stroking our beards so the others know not to talk. Just want to, inside baseball as far as what we do here. Anthony's beard is majestic right now. Just wanted you all to know.
It's as long as it's ever been. And
It's great.
I was early to the game, let's put it that way, in terms of growing facial hair. So I've been working at this for a while.
Good for you, man.
Since I was like 13. But yeah, it grows quick. And I don't need to show up anywhere. So I just work from home and get the beard going.
It looks good, man. It looks good. I mean, we've all got them.
It's got some grays. Now. A lot of grays.
As I always say, grays are better than gone.
That's a good point.
You just killed my plug. I was going to say it would fit a Just for Men box. Easy.
Touch of gray.
Do you guys remember the pop punk band Fireworks?
No.
They were on Run for Cover a while ago. They have a line that's, I'm not counting the grays on my head. I'm calling them silver linings instead.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got a lot of those silver linings, so I'm down.
I get more and more every day.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I just wanted to thank Anthony's beard for coming out because, I don't know if we could have done it without him.
You know what that's a callback to? An Every Time I Die DVD. Every Time I Die DVD.
I knew you'd know. You'd know what I was doing.
I'll be signing autographs in the back by the bathroom. That's a deep cut.
Man,
it's on YouTube. A Night at Home with Every Time I Die or something. It's them just acting a fool, and it's awesome.
That is a deep cut on our friendship too. I think that was like an away message you had when we were like 19.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was 03. 2003 when
Sorry,
Hot Damn came out.
I had to tangent on that real quick. All right, Anthony, you got your last one?
Last one. So in the spectrum of Pipe Dream, semi-confirmed and confirmed, this is, I would say it's a verbal, but you get a verbal offer, but you haven't signed the contract type of thing. You haven't, it's not in blood. So the band is Incendiary. So I was listening to Axe to Grind podcast, I don't know, a couple months ago, and they were mentioning that they were recording. I don't know. One of them must know the band or something, and they said that Incendiary was recording. So, yeah. So reasons why I'm super anticipating this is one, I heard that, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in. Two is it's been, I can't believe it, 4 years since 1,000 Mile Stare came out. So they're due. So there's anticipation and hype. But lastly, just the political climate, what's going on with the world, like that's what I need right now. I'm trying to think. Like I probably leave my house in my car once a day, and I just crank music. Mm-hmm. And I would want nothing more than to crank a new Incendiary album. And I don't know. I have a sneaky feeling an album will drop, and it's only based on when that episode of Axe to Grind, they mentioned that, I don't know, some insider info or something that they were recording. So I'm ready. I'm so ready for that.
You know what's awesome is you got me into them, and I didn't put Rage Against the Machine down because I didn't think it was even remotely possible, but it could be. And I'm happy you put it down, Tone. But when you got me into them, I was like, this band actually could, and it would help with, like you said, the political climate, but also just, just some kind of release. This band really nails it. So I would love that.
Heavy therapy, baby.
Heavy therapy, exactly.
I'm in. I would be all in for this. Again, Twan, you got us into them, and they're badass, and that would fit what's going on right now. That would fit my mood half the time when I'm trying to, plow through a workout or do whatever. Like, it's just it's cool. It's something that I've been coming back to more than I thought I would, and since our heavy therapy episode way back when, and yeah, let's go. I want some Incendiary in my life for sure.
Yeah, so they're on Closed Casket Activities, I think is the label. So I'm looking out for something, and that's as soon as that is announced, I'm pre-ordering it in every colorway. Like I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in.
Coming soon to your Sunday spins.
Yeah.
I think that in terms of percentage, I bet that's an 80 to 90% this year.
That'd be cool. Yeah. You said, what was the last one? 2016?
17. 1,000 Miles There was 2017.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
And they're not a full-time band, so and their albums aren't long. You know what I mean? It's like they don't need to, I don't know. 1,000 Miles There was probably a half hour tops.
But I mean, everything is probably in place where it needs to be, so that takes time too. Even if it's not long on the album,
yeah,
the placement of it probably takes some time. Hopefully, someday we can find out how that works.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome.
Who's
All right,
up?
Nate?
Me? All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking in the same vein, Twan, something that I need for music therapy, and this is definitely a pipe dream, but it's kind of a hybrid of two bands, Trent Reznor and Maynard's Tapeworm. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to hear it, but I want to hear new music with those guys working together right now, putting something together right now to put out this year. Be like, boom, here we are. We are going to do it. Maynard's amazing voice. Trent Reznor's amazing genius. Both of their whatever rhythm sections, whatever they need to do, and put something out and just blow everything out of the water. I mean, we talked about Perfect Circle. We've talked about Nine Inch Nails on here. Tool, obviously. So those guys are obviously the masterminds. Not really. I mean, Tool's a four-piece, right? And Nine Inch Nails really is Trent at the end of the day. But to have those two work together and just really just put their heads down and say, all right, let's actually do this. I think it's appropriate to work on this and make it happen. And again, selfishly have these two paint the story through their, vocals and songwriting and emotion, put something on tape and say, yeah, I'm going through it too. This is what we did. Check it out and just roll. And yes, it should be a double album concept.
Yes.
And there's probably enough material for a double, just knowing who's involved.
Yeah, it's true. I am all about that. Nate, did you just come up with this because it was something you wanted, or do you have a little insider info that I don't know about?
Do I or don't I?
Oh, okay. You're gonna play it coy. Well, for me, seeing these guys put something out together, we've always wanted it. We talked about it a little bit, I think fairly recently with the Perfect Circle Passive. That was a Tapeworm song prior to, and it would be really, really awesome to hear stuff from both of those guys together. Just like when we heard Passenger with Chino and Maynard, or Know Your Enemy, Maynard on Know Your Enemy with Zach De La Roca and Rage. So
yep,
I would love to hear, even if it's 4 songs, 8 songs, something from those two together, or their camps together.
Yeah, I definitely check this out. Have they recorded anything in the past?
Kind
Any
of
studio stuff for them?
Yeah. No.
I think it was the demos for that album that never. I don't
Just
think
the
it was a
demo.
full length. It was like rough cuts and B-sides of music that they were putting together for Tapeworm. But the way I was thinking of it is like something fresh, not even that old music surfacing finally. Literally, like, let's go into the studio right now, I'm talking like Trent, the angriest songs on The Fragile, and Maynard, like the angriest songs on like Enema / Summon Lateralis, where they're just both fucking pissed and just put out something with the soundscapes to just, basically make like a movie soundtrack on what's going on right now. I feel like those two could really nail it.
The interesting thing about 2020 is it really created a unique one of a lifetime opportunity for a lot of, for anyone, but for those people who, they're their own boss. They can do whatever they want with that time. And yeah, is Trent calling up Maynard? I bet it happened.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
If it didn't happen in 2020, probably ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the bummer at the party and say that I don't think it's going to happen, but I want it to, and I think us talking about it right now is putting it out there into the world. So
yeah, we're willing it to exist.
There is some energy being pushed out tonight that you're hearing now a couple days later for this to happen. So we're gonna make this happen. If you're listening to us tonight, tweet at those guys. Hit them up on Instagram. Tell them, hey, Tapeworm, like, what happened to Tapeworm? Let's make this happen. We need you guys now more than ever, right? Let's do this.
Yeah, that could be the first band that kind of went into our earlier prediction with, direct to consumer, OnlyFans music, Tapeworm. Like, you can only get it this way, and it was written 2 months ago, and it's ready to go. You get a concert ticket maybe too or something. I don't know. Keep it as a full exclusive deal. But yeah, I mean, I just couldn't stop thinking about this today. It's like, think of like Maynard's amazing, beautiful singing on like 3 Libras layered with like when Trent can sing, but both of their angry screams and emotion transcending on an album too. They would work so well together. It's not only because they're both from amazing, complex industrial type music, but they would work really well together. I think. I mean, I don't know, but I want to hear it. This would be a perfect time for it, I think.
Good pull. And they came up last week?
During the Perfect Circle, not quite 3 album run a couple weeks ago.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
Yep. A couple weeks ago.
All right. We've reached the boring of the 3 categories. Ones that are confirmed. I got to give you a confirmed record, don't I? I'm excited for a lot of these that I have written here, but Julian Baker next month. 2/26/21. She is putting out Little Oblivions, and I really like Sprained Ankle, which she put out in 2015, and I really like Turn Off the Lights, which she put out in 2017. I've listened to a little bit of her collaborations with Phoebe Bridgers, among others, for Boy Genius, and her solo stuff I love. Sprained Ankle is a great record, and Turn Off the Lights is really good too. So those are records I would tell people to go listen to right now, and this is a question that I had for you guys, and I hadn't brought it up, and it might be its own mini segment for us. So I don't know if we want to get too in depth on it, but a band you love has announced an album and announced a song, and it doesn't come out for 3 months. Are you listening to the one song, or are you going to wait for the album to come out because you're going to listen to the album?
Depends on the artist.
Right. Me too.
Well, that one song though is in traditional sense the single for an album before it drops.
Traditionally, right? Yes, but today isn't traditional.
That's true.
Like I've listened to both of her other albums, and I know they're works of art. The one song she's working, it's her 3rd record, so I think it's whatever deal she has is probably expiring. They're doing the rollout. Like, I heard about this in November, and I'm like, don't tease me 4 months prior, 3 months prior. I want to hear the record. So, especially nowadays, when a lot of times you hear, hey, here's an album, here's a song, album comes out at midnight, or here's 2 songs, album comes out next Friday. That's the way things are now. I don't want to wait from November to February, late February so I've waited on this song. I haven't listened to the song that's out. So I was wondering what you guys thought on that.
Yeah, for me, it depends on the artist. Like when Deftones released Ohms, I tried to avoid it, but I mean, it was a big single, and I think they released Genesis too beforehand, and I intentionally tried to stay away from that. A Day to Remember announced an album, released like one song, and then another song, and then the album still hasn't come out yet, like a half a year later. So now it's almost kind of ruined the out. It's like, These, like, if I was them, I wouldn't even put those songs on the album anymore.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
How about you, Nate? Are you different, or are you?
I think I'm thinking in the same kind of headspace for the most part. You want to hear it as a cohesive piece, and we're also big record heads here, right? So we like to hear things in its entirety. That old school, like I was saying earlier, like a single dropping before the album drops. That is kind of an old method. I think it still happens, but music with some real depth, like you definitely want to hear it in a cohesive piece as a record. So yeah, I think I'm with you. And the Deftones is a good point because I did avoid those, and then I finally listened. I'm like, oh crap, like I should really hold out on this, but it's hard not to. I think it depends on the music style, genre. So,
there's a podcast I've mentioned to you guys in the past. He's sporadic in releasing stuff, but The Sound of the Story, and he did a whole episode on Sprained Ankle from 2015. And that, whenever you get a deep dive on an album like that, for me anyway, I have more appreciation for the music when I hear some of the story behind it. And it makes me want to go back and listen to the record again because it gives me more, kind of understanding of what was going on in the time for this stuff. So this is one that did that for me. Sprained Ankle from 2015. I'd go listen to that podcast. The Sound of the Story is the name of the podcast. It does a really good job with a bunch of other stuff too. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I found Julian Baker, and I'm excited for this record.
So I got to check out more from her because I checked out, actually, I think I probably found out about her either through Utone or through Chorus FM or something, but
yep. I
was actually just looking up Sprained Ankle, and 6131 Records put that out, and they have a lot of heavy bands, like Touche Amore either is or was on 6131, Downpresser, hardcore band, like pretty versatile. So I wonder what her roots are. I bet they might be in that lane. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's always interesting, like why there's such a vast difference in the roster. Yeah.
I like that though. That's us. Vast different rosters. That's what we do. We have we've spanned the globe here on these 9 selections of music that we want to hear in 2021. So pretty exciting stuff. And I mean, we all had a bunch more, I'm sure.
Yeah, give two just by name. That
I was going to say, I think we should do that because this isn't one that we're going to want to repeat in August. It's one that we want to get out there right now in January. So Nate, you got a couple that you didn't mention. We don't have to go in depth on them, but
actually, I had 9 Inch Nails and I crossed it out for Tapeworm because 9 Inch Nails
too.
Yeah, because they had put out music in 2019, so I think it was pretty possible that they were going to keep going.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't have a whole lot of others. We talked about the Urge on here. I put the Urge just because, similar to what you said with Phoenix TX, Twan, I wanted to hear something in that vein where it's like nice, something like happy, upbeat, just almost like a distraction, ska type music coming back to the top of the heap. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
What do you have, Twan?
I had 2 confirmed, and I know they're on your list.
Yeah, they are.
Kings of Leon.
Yep.
And the new Citizen album.
Yep. Definitely.
On Run for Cover, Life in Your Glass World. They just released I don't even know if it's a single, but just a song off the album. And there's a music video I want to check out. I listened to that, and it picks up right where As You Please left off. In fact, it could have been off that album, and I'm in for that. Yep. So those 2, for me, were the 2 that I didn't get to.
I have those 2 for sure. Hold Steady comes out with an album in a couple of weeks. I didn't love the last one. Probably need to spend more time with it. So that's one that I'm excited to listen to because I like what they do. As a Pipe Dream, The Hotelier, I want to hear an album from them. It's been a while. And then bands that are together. I'm going to throw a couple out there that I hope they put something out this year. Manchester Orchestra, it's been almost 4 years since they put an album out. Clutch hasn't put a new album out in a couple years. They're kind of due. Daft Punk, it's been almost 8 years since they put out Random Access Memories, and I would love a full length from them that was original. And Queens of the Stone Age. So those are ones that were in my head that I want to hear from, that we don't have anything confirmed, but maybe they're doing something.
Yeah, good calls. And the Kings of Leon, those 2 singles dropped, right? For a confirmed album. That's probably
100,000 People and then Bandits. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
like
one was
Bandits.
great, one was good.
Yeah, I liked Bandits.
Mhm.
Bandits was good.
Bandits, I
That
think, was the great
yeah,
one.
Agreed. Yep. I'm excited for that record. That'll be a fun record.
Yeah, I like the, we always talk about artwork and imagery and whatnot. I like the imagery that they've used where it's like, it feels very Southern. So I'm
Mhm.
wondering if they'll kind of double down on that, which, I know they're not from the South. Where are they from? They're from UK?
No, they're
Nashville.
Oh, they're from Nashville.
Yeah.
Okay, there you
Mhm.
go.
Yep.
the almost South.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll definitely lean into that, obviously.